Business success is simple. You need capital, you need top-tier talent, and you need the right market conditions. If you lack these, you generally crash. In the early 1900s, Samuel Pierpont Langley held all three ingredients. He was the favorite to win the race for powered human flight. The War Department gave Langley $50,000 to fund his dream. He held a seat at Harvard and worked at the Smithsonian, giving him access to the greatest scientific minds of his day. Meanwhile, in Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright had no government funding and no elite connections. They paid for their experiments with the proceeds from a local bicycle shop, and none of their team members held a college degree. Langley's primary drive was the pursuit of fame and wealth. The Wright brothers, however, were motivated by a purpose. They believed a flying machine would change how humans moved across the planet. On December 17, 1903, the Wright brothers achieved flight. The man with the money and the pedigree remained on the ground, suggesting that the traditional list of requirements for success is incomplete. We see this same pattern in the modern era with TiVo. When they launched their digital video recorder, they were well-funded, the market was ready, and they had the highest quality technology available. Their product was so effective it became a verb, yet TiVo was a commercial failure. Their stock price plummeted, and they never reached profitability. Now compare that to Apple. Apple is a computer company. Structurally, they are no different from their competitors, and they have the same access to talent and consultants. But when Dell released high-quality MP3 players, they failed. Consumers could not imagine buying a music player from a computer company, even though the hardware was perfectly functional. Apple can sell phones, computers, and watches with equal success because they communicate in a way that bypasses technical specs to earn consumer loyalty. This pattern of success can be explained by a framework called the Golden Circle. Most organizations communicate from the outside in. They start with the clearest thing, what they do, and move toward the fuzziest thing, which is why they do it. An Apple marketing pitch using this method would sound standard. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed and simple to use. Want to buy one? It provides the facts but lacks inspiration. Leaders who inspire people to act do the reverse. They communicate from the inside out. Apple's actual communication sounds like this. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. The way we do that is by making our products beautifully designed and simple to use. We just happen to make great computers. By reversing the order of information, the focus shifts. People do not buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The three levels of the Golden Circle correspond to the physical components of the human brain. The newest part of our brain, the neocortex, handles the what level. This area is responsible for rational and analytical thought, as well as language. The two middle sections make up our limbic brain, which correlates to the why and how. This older part of the brain controls all feelings, such as trust and loyalty. Importantly, the limbic brain has no capacity for language. This is why we often struggle to explain gut decisions. The part of the brain making the choice cannot speak. Communicating facts and figures targets the language center, but fails to drive behavior. To trigger a decision, a message must target the limbic brain by leading with a belief. Success at scale requires finding individuals who share a specific worldview. This is the law of diffusion of innovation. It categorizes the population from the early innovators and adopters to the late majorities and laggards. For an idea to reach the mass market, it must first hit a tipping point between 15 and 18%. The early majority will not try something new until someone else has tried it first. They are driven by practicality and proof. However, innovators and early adopters are comfortable making intuitive decisions. They bought the first iPhones and expensive flat-screen TVs, not for the utility, but to prove something about their own identity. Crossing the tipping point requires attracting these early adopters. They don't buy because of the features. They buy because the product proves what they believe about themselves. In 1963, 250,000 people gathered in Washington for the March on Washington. There was no website or mass invitation to organize the crowd. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did not travel the country telling people what needed to change. He told them what he believed. People who shared those beliefs took his cause and built the local structure. People who stood in the heat that day did not show up for Dr. King. They showed up for themselves. They were there to act on their own beliefs about what America should be. This is why history remembers the "I have a dream" speech, rather than an I have a plan speech. We follow leaders because we want to, not because we have to, and the leaders who inspire us are those who start with why.